Well, I've gone ahead and painted in the front wall of this shed. I may need to lighten it up a little bit, that's fine. I want to get all my reds in before I decide where to intensify them and where to leave them toned down. At the moment, the appearance of this shed is quite cartoonish, partly because the colors are more reminiscent of the jersey on a sports team than the natural look of an old barn. Now, this whole painting is going to have that flavor of, cartoonish look to it, but I don't want it to go too far down that road. Also, because it's a larger painting and these are larger, these buildings proportionately are larger, I am going to need to paint in various details. And in that, because of that, I'm painting in individual boards-ish, not every seam between every board. That would get kind of monotonous. I want it to remain somewhat impressionistic. So we have that sitting there now. This, of course, is much stronger and more in our face. So I know that I can go with my most intense reds are going to be in this area. So I've taken a little bit of Cad Red Medium and some yellow ochre to warm it up a little bit, and I'm just going to begin laying in some color here. Okay, now I have yellow ochre in that one. I'm going to take another little spot of this and I'm going to put in a little bit of Cad Yellow Pale, and you'll see a pretty marked difference in a hurry. Hint of white. Okay, I'm going to cut into that overhang shadow a little bit. I don't want all this to be in shadow. I don't think it's necessary, and it gives the impression the roof is hanging way over if I do that, and I don't need that to be the case. So we'll just do that for the moment. So it's fairly intense right now, but I'm not playing all my cards, meaning I'm not going to the highest chroma or highest value yet. I'm just establishing the colors of this spot. Of this area. There can be a bit of a hole in the bottom there. I'll leave that for the moment. Might do away with it later. Okay, that's just straight Cad Red Medium right now. Okay. So I'm fluctuating between straight Cad Red Medium and yellow ochre, or Cad Red Medium and Cad Yellow Pale. I'm not adding much white yet, although I probably will pretty soon. Well, when I lay over it I will, because that's not the final paint right there. And I think I'd like to just indicate the idea that we're missing some boards here, you know, and I'm just gonna allow some of the structure of the framing of the building to show through. Okay, we'll make that a happy one. Put a little more white in there. Okay. See, and I'll just keep varying that mixture. I'm going to see how the light is most intense here, and it's coming down in this direction. So my reds are going to fade off and tone down as I move to the left-hand side of the shed. This will not be the highest light on the roof, nor on the wall in the front. So very gradually, very tentatively, I'm going to start toning it down a little bit as I move to the left. And of course, because there's a dark void in here, the doorway, I can't just be bright here and then dark starting on the other side of the doorway. I need to indicate a bit of light still on this side that matches the value and chroma here. Anyway, you see which direction I'm going with that. I'll get back to you shortly. So I think what you can see now, I've painted in my slats. It's a downward sweep of light. It's full length of the wall here, and it slowly gets narrower as we get to the bottom of the back here. I think that stays in tune with the roof, repeats that feeling. I like it. Now I need to go in and, you know, possibly a few of these lines will be eliminated as I paint in again. I like this one better than this so far because this is a little too tidy for me. But now I have these red areas painted in. I don't want to go in now while the paint is just freshly applied and put highlighting on, you know, and making changes, because we'll end up with a very smeary looking wall and that loses strength. I want to maintain, as you can see, you know, some of the canvas tooth coming through. It just aids in giving you the feeling of the texture of wood. So we're going to leave that for the time being. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, I guess my shadow's over that. Okay, so that's where we're sitting, and onward we go. I'm going to start working in the lower area here. Well, it just occurred to me that I have not been keeping you up to date on the colors that I've been using since I left the sky. I think I mentioned that the bush in the background is almost all ultramarine blue, and maybe the odd hint of cobalt blue, but mostly ultramarine blue and yellow ochre and a bit of white, varying degrees of white. You know, and the little branch like that. Well, that's raw umber with a bit of burnt sienna and white in it. So I think maybe what I'll do now, so I don't forget, is we'll start on the left and work our way to the right, and I'll just run through the list of what I've been using. This fence is ultramarine blue, raw umber, white, in varying degrees. The board on the barn on this wall is alizarin crimson and cad red as we go into the darker areas here. Just a hint of alizarin crimson. Then we're going into straight cad red and yellow ochre in places. Then we're going to, oh, and a bit of white as well. Then we're going to, in these more intense areas, and when I lay more light on there, this is what I'm also going to use, is cad red medium and cad yellow pale. Alright. The roof. Well, there's a mishmash of things, isn't there? This is cad yellow pale and burnt sienna, this little sliver here. Much of this is also cad yellow pale and burnt sienna. Here we have burnt sienna and a bit of white. Here we have burnt sienna, a bit of yellow ochre and white. Here as well, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, white. A shot of alizarin crimson and white mixed with just a hint of burnt sienna. Our greens here, these are all the same but varying in degrees in white. That again is cad yellow pale, burnt sienna, and just a touch of ultramarine blue to bring it into that greenish area. Very warm greens, much warmer than the greens that are behind there. And then we've come to here. Well, this is also raw umber and a hint of, like, very tiny amount of ultramarine blue and yellow ochre. I've added just a touch of yellow ochre on this side, very little. I've added a little more here. I don't know if the camera shows it, but this trim is similar, you know, almost the same in color, but a little bit warmer here. These reds here, those are really cad red medium and alizarin crimson, by far mostly cad red medium, and just a hint of ultramarine blue to tone it down, and varying degrees of white. For the moment, I want to keep this, you know, quite toned down. I'll bring it up a little bit, but we're going to do that when we do this wall, so that the two play off each other, and I can sort of make those judgments in real time. Under the shadow line here, that's cad red medium and just a little bit more ultramarine blue. Our tree stump here, the shady side, ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. The sunny side, pretty much burnt sienna. Well, and white, obviously. There are always varying degrees of white in the brush strokes. Now, next I'm going to start playing in the foreground here. Going to use, start out with some yellow ochre and a hint of raw umber just to keep this toned down. Then we're going to get rid of most of the raw umber over here, and we're going to end up working with right where this meets the wall. Okay, I'll get back to you on that. Anyway, I'll explain it when I start doing it. Well, that was just another nuisance call, so I thought I'd just finish this quick explanation, and I'll explain things as I'm going once I'm painting the field. But just to finish what I was saying, then I'm going to go to straight yellow ochre on the upper edge, just, you know, the first few brush strokes where it meets the structure. And almost immediately we're going to start mixing in cad yellow pale with the yellow ochre as well as some white to really try to catch some light reflecting off of these dry grasses that are here. So we have, you know, the feeling of light coming down, hitting this, and sliding down, and allowing us sort of to go off the canvas onto the right, or down this trail. Anyway, that's for next time. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching.